Yes, Nigeria have been stunned. Nigerians have been disappointed or surprised, to say, in the last few days since the issue of the girl that followed her mate to a sports event in Dubai, and of course the sex video, so to say, was trending, and a whole lot of reaction, counter reactions here and there, deniers, and we don't even know what to believe if you look at what has been happening since the revelation came out from a certain 10-year-old girl of a Lagos-based school. Of course, because of that, some parents who actually saw their own children as being too young to know anything actually dug deep, and some have come out on social media to say they were surprised with what they found on the pages of their wards, who they don't even know harbor such or know so much about the usage of phone, talk less of having a page and of having followers following some of the things considered immorals that they do on their pages. And so it's even though a whole lot of people are pointing accusing figures here and there, but some are saying the teachers, some are blaming the society, but primarily we all know that all these things fall on the doorsteps as responsibility of parents, so to say. So this morning we want to have all that behind us or in our mind as we discuss child upbringing challenges and strategies. And we have two experienced parents here. Of course, they are even grandparents, if you ask me. Alhaji Ambali Shola, a retired permanent secretary in Ogun State, is here. Alhaji, salamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
How's the Ramadan?
Fine.
We also have our mother here, Reverend Mrs. Ayoka Olabisi, who is also a child developer with so many, with lots of experience. Reverend Mrs. Olabisi, you're welcome to the program. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
All right, as I told you, it is about child upbringing challenges and strategies, and we also dance around all that we have been hearing in the past few days concerning the recent incidents concerning the 10-year-old girl of a certain school in Lagos. The police are involved now, and of course people have been invited to come and be interrogated here and there. And I'm sure that because it concerns us at a point in time on this program, our producer, Yasini James, will open the lines for other parents and other interested viewers out there to also contribute or make suggestions or even ask questions. Tunde?
All right, let me set the ball rolling with Alhaji Ambali Shola. And my question is, are our children now endangered species? What brought them to this point where a 10-year-old, a 5-year-old, I saw one video recently, just yesterday, 6-year-old children cannot be vouched for nowadays?
Thank you. The issue starts from home, because I believe that the parents should watch their children, right? These children have been with them at least when they are just a day old. They are the ones that have been with them. It should be a way of monitoring your child to see what he or she is doing at any particular time. If you find out that your child is usually found isolated in some places, either female or male, please go there, check what is he doing, why is he alone, is he communicating with some people on the telephone. So those are the things, but by and large, it's lack of care by the parents, because all these things that are being manifested now must have been done gradually at home, but because most parents are careless, they did not do it. Again, you need to see the background of some parents. Some are not even, cannot be called parents when it comes to child upbringing, because they too learnt nothing, maybe from their parents, or they were unable to comprehend what their parents are telling them. So they cannot be said to be a parent. The man will go one way, the woman will go another way. And in most cases, especially where there are broken homes, you see, this lady, this girl they are talking about, one needs to find out, how are their parents? Is her parents living together? What are the background of those parents? So the thing is a reflection of the society, because it has been. It's not something of that 10 years old. It must have been a gradual thing. So because our parents nowadays don't have time for their children, that is the basic truth about it. They don't care about them. They just want to see them being fed and being clothed, and then they leave every other thing. So I believe that these are the things we need to correct within the society, that wherever you are doing, or where your children, anytime you find them, ask them questions. Things that you feel they should not be doing, let them know. Let them know. Like in most cases, that's why, how can a child of 10 years be handling a sophisticated telephone?
Smartphone.
If it's just for you to talk to her or talk to him, a simple one that won't have any other feature than just calling and replying. And in most cases, I'm not sure that secondary school students should be allowed to be using all these things, especially when they are out of home, where there is nobody that could give a personal monitoring to them. When they are in the hostel, they will keep it away. Once they find the teachers coming, they keep away. And after the teacher must have left, they now go back again to do what they know they cannot vouch to say they were the one doing it.
All right, let me go to Mrs. Ayoka Olabisi. Now, at what point do we manage it? Because parents have, 21st century parents have to work. And most of the work out there would take your time from morning till evening. The father will go to work, the mother will go to work. How do you suggest balancing with the upbringing of the child?
Thank you very much. And I want to say good morning to the viewers as well. I'm going to deviate from your question just one little bit, just to say something on what Daddy has said. It's not all parents that are not doing the right thing. There are parents that are doing the best for their children. But there is one thing that is lacking for us in homes, in this part of the world, even in civilized countries as well. There is something going on that we don't know, parents don't know. And that is backfiring on the effort of parents. And I'm glad that I'm on the program this morning. That will give me opportunity to speak to the parents.
All right.
There's something we call child exploitation, children exploitation. It could be criminal. In fact, 98% of it are criminal. And that includes sexual exploitation, that includes psychological exploitation, it includes even criminal, like selling drugs. They don't necessarily have to be taking drugs. They don't necessarily have to be from parents that takes drugs. They don't, even some parents don't smoke. But there are people whose job now, I think that's the area that I feel is important for me to talk on today, so that people out there that are hearing, that are viewing us, they can know that there's something like that. The 6-year-old you are talking about, the 10-year-old, the 15 up to age 16, there are a group of people exploring them. Because in Africa we don't have that inclination, we are not aware. These people are migrating from other countries. They are coming to our countries, different parts of African countries. They look for children that are intelligent, brilliant, and have good future. Children that can handle whatever they put on their plate well. And all they do, they groom them. So when we talk about 6-year-olds doing what we are not expecting them to do, I am telling you that 6-year-old doesn't know what to do. But there's an adult somewhere grooming them.
So how do you identify these exploiters?
So you cannot identify the exploiters because the reason they use the children to do their job is so that they don't get caught. These exploiters could be my friend, could be a member of the family. It doesn't have to be, it will not be the mother and the father, basically. It doesn't work that way. They have network of actions. They have ladies, they have young men. Okay, so when they start grooming these children, depending on what they want them to do, they'll pick them from the relevant age until they get to the age where they can successfully do the work for them. So that is that one. In the area of us working, parents that work and all that, and balancing it, I think one thing that I want to start stopping parents from doing is putting your children in private schools, in boarding schools. They can go to private schools, but don't put them in boarding schools. We did that. By the grace of God, we don't smoke, we don't drink. We thank God for our lives. We love God for how God has groomed us as children, groomed us as youth, groomed us as young adults till we got married. Myself and my husband, obviously, we grew up from different parents, but God really blessed us. We have integrity and we have principles. And these principles and these integrities we give to our children. But I have had a child that has fallen into the hand of these criminal exploiters. And what we cannot dream of is what you see your children do. But the good thing there is, from what you are saying, we have to give our children the opportunity to be able to talk to us. We have to make time to visit our children. Those ones that their children are in boarding school, make efforts to visit your children at odd times, not when the school says you can. Just get there and say, can I see my son? Can I see my daughter? That's one aspect of it. When we come back from work, I still remember very well. I can only tell you practical things that I've done in my home that has worked. When I get back from work, and my children will tell you this, if you call them to TV, I'll ask them questions. In the evening, once I make the food, we all sit in the sitting room, we all eat, and we watch TV together. They will tell you the program that I like, detective series, and that's what we are all going to watch. And on detective series, what you find there is the criminal, what they have done, how they get caught, how you can explain to people without you speaking, your signs and things like that. That is the only reason I watch it, and I watch it with them. Some people will be saying, but she's a minister. Why is she not showing them God channel when they are eating? Because what will happen to them outside there is not what is being talked about on God channel. We go to church, we share the word of God, we pray together, I run conferences and all that. And they have opportunity to be part of all that. But what they are not part of, that I am not part of, that I'm not able to teach them, you can see it. But even with all that, I have 4 children. And by the grace of God, I have one that I have those that have excelled, that has done us proud, and we are still their parents. And now I have one that has fallen into the hand of these people. And is a wonderful, loving, caring, intelligent young man. So what do we do? So parents, even though we go to work, we need to make time to relate with our children. At one point, I was doing this. Any parent that wants to can practice it. I give 1 day to each of my children. In a month, one person will have 1 day with me a month, not even with my husband, with me. We'll go out together, we'll sit, we'll eat, and I will not dictate where we go. Any restaurant of their choice, wherever we go there, we sit, we eat, we drink, and we chat. And I'll say, ask me any question. And if there's anything that has been eaten in my heart, I find the time to push it in and just say, you know, is there anything you want to tell me about this? And each of them have a day in a month. So, which means I have 4 days that is not mine, 4 days that is for my children, 4 days that is not for my husband, is for me and my children. And from that, I was able to discover few things, and those that need to be strengthened, I strengthened them. And at one point, because all these things are in stages, at one point, I started going on retreat with them, those that are interested, because you can't force anyone to go on retreat with you. But when they go on retreat with me, that is when I have the time to show them how to go on retreat, how to read your Bible yourself, how to know what God is telling you, how you pray on things on your heart. That's when we do that. And I have one of my children that will go retreat with me anytime I say I'm going on retreat.
Okay, but Alhaji Ambali, recently, before this one, we had the issue of bullying also in school, where a young man lost his life, and of course, just like Mommy said, maybe he could have been saved if he had access to free interaction with his parents, because according to reports, his body languages showed that he wanted to open up, but he could not open up. But my question is this: isn't it ironic that these things are happening where you think you have paid enough money to secure your child, for your child to be looked after? You can go to bed, the teachers are there, I'm paying up to 800,000, I pay want to work for something million. Isn't it ironic that it is happening in the private schools? Because this one that is happening has actually showed that there have been many cover-ups that we don't know in the private school. What is happening here?
Oh, thank you. You see, exactly, you said this is a place you will think when you send your child to, then you can go and sleep. But don't forget that there are some other children coming from other backgrounds that they are not as well trained as you think your child is, and that there are bad influence on those coming. You see, the parents will understand that different environments will converge in any school. In fact, some parents, some children of some criminal will also find themselves there. And that is where one needs to be very, very close. Like I said, the boy, if he had had that opportunity, either of the parents, he will have talked to them what was going on with them. You see, one should not think because he has paid some amount that will help the student or the child. No, he should have it in mind that he's not aware of the type of other children from different environments that are coming together with his or her own children. And as a result, he will keep on monitoring his or her own children. Say, okay, what happened today? What is it? If anybody, are you being bullied? Is there anybody that, I have a friend of recent that we were talking about a child in the secondary school. That said, okay, I don't want to go to that school again. I said, no, we shouldn't say because let's her give us reasons. There might be some people threatening, some senior will say, I will kill you. Some teachers, because it happens to be a female, some teachers, some parents will just write it off because they felt it's not being free because of the discipline in the school. That's why she wants to run away. But no, there could be other personal thing that child will be able to tell you that, look, there are some seniors that are punishing me. Is it what kind of punishment? To go and fetch water, to watch them, look, you're a junior staff. You're a junior student. By the time you have promotion to another class now, you also become a senior. So that couldn't be. But if it is such that it keeps on beating me today, beating me tomorrow, then you know that there's a good reason why either you go to that school to complain or you withdraw your child. So some of us, some parents think because it's a school, I know some schools around that when it comes to discipline, you can vouch for the management of that school.
And they are private schools?
Yes, that are private schools. But all the same, they can't see everything. They can't. Because those children also at that age, they want to do things on their own. Some of them, when you talk to them and ask them, they just think they want to try their hands on certain things. They might not realize that that thing will lead them to that kind of thing. Because at a certain age, between 6 and 16 that we are talking, there are a lot of trials that children will want to make. Because they won't know the implication. That's the reason why parents should concentrate on them at that age. Because that age, they want to do things on their own, thinking that they can do certain things and escape. They can do certain things. You know, when we were very young, nowadays we always play with ourselves that now we are running away from death. But there was a time the death was running away from us, because you will see a vehicle running and say, before it gets here. I mean, that was a dangerous thing. None of us will say when we were young, we were not been trying such things. But because you felt you are clever, you want to go. So the same thing at that age, they want to do certain things that they felt will be new, maybe to their colleagues. Whether it's good or bad, they just want to tell them that what you cannot do or what you have not been doing, I can do it. So
yes, Reverend Mrs. Labisi, I want to look at parenting nowadays. How challenging is parenting? Now, the challenging nature, is it the fault of the parents or the fault of the society? I'm looking at it from the area of, especially you said you talk with your kids, you actually get close to them. How much of sex education is given? When should sex education start for these kids? I also want you to look at the issue of telephones. I've seen some parents, of course, parents of private schools, brag about the type of phones their children use. Have you seen the type of phone my child now uses? I mean, is this part of parenting, or is this also contributing to what we are talking about?
Thank you. I think if I want to look at it, look at parenting and the challenges. Okay, so parenting, last time I was on the show, I think it was early this month, we explained to us the different types of parenting that is available. And I did say the best one out of it, from my perspective, is the one that have family commandments. There's something we call family commandments, which is what we expected from a member of our family. It's a commandment. What we are expecting from our children, what I'm expecting from my husband, what my husband is expecting from me. And that also includes what the society is expecting from us as a family. So that is family commandment. So I said, if we have a principle like that in place, we should support our children to achieve those principles, to achieve those standards. We want them to go to have good education, we support them. We want them to succeed in life. We don't have to necessarily say, you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer, you have to, those words are very good. I've had a child, one of my children say, Mommy, I want to go into business. And I'm saying to him, I want you to, yes, you can do business, become an optician or optometrist, and you'll be able to sell in glasses and all. I said, Mommy, that's not what I want. So at some point, it clicked in my brain that you need to listen to this boy. So I listened to him. Last week, my husband's cousin, Prof, we were discussing, and he said to me, my son said this to him. It's the type of business. And he was surprised. I said, you can go for it. Even though I want him to be on a different path of professionalism. That's one aspect. So we should have, in terms of the parenting style you're talking about, strategy, we should have principles, we should have our own personal family commandments, and we should support our children to achieve them. We should not say, I want you to be this, and then go and sort it out.
Sex education.
Now, in terms of sex education, in our culture, we don't want to expose our children to what is unnecessary. But like I said to you, child exploitation is in view now and is really operating. So if the child exploiter that gets your child is a sex trafficker, they will expose your child to sex issues from whatever age they get hold of the child. Okay, so it's only advisable to include it in our talk, but sensibly. Because as parents, we are not exploiters. We are not grooming our children to be what is not going to be beneficial to society. When we talk about sex education, what I want us to be telling our children is what will happen if you do this. The last two Sundays ago, I was at a youth conference as a speaker, and I said to those ladies, I said, when you are dressing, you have to think about it. One of the things that we don't talk about is why does men tend to want to lust quickly than women? But it is obvious that as a mother, our own sexual thing is hidden. Fathers, I told these young people, fathers and boys, their own instrument is more or less exposed, it's outside. So immediately their eyes see, their brain connects, and it sends messages to these areas. Once these areas get initiated, the man begins to lust after these young ladies. So the young ladies need to know that they can look at a man, doesn't make any difference, because your emotional level, your chemistry, let's say your biochemistry is totally different.
The way you are wired.
The way you are wired, that's the right, thank you, sir. So the way you are wired is different. So those are the things we need to be telling our children. It's a sex education, because some will go and buy dresses, like things they wear abroad. And we expose them, their bodies. Yes, expose their bodies. And trigger the senses in the male counterpart immediately. And immediately they have that initiation. You'll find out that the boy is craving to see this girl. I really want to know this girl. I really want to know this girl. And that will play on their mind until they've taken some actions. That is sex education. So parents need to start looking at issues of the society and discuss it at home with their children. Another aspect of it is not only ladies, because these sex traffickers, these sex exploiters, they groom young boys. So you look at, I remember speaking to one of my sons. I said to him, we went on a retreat together. And during the time of retreat, we were looking at Bible passages, and now we got to this aspect of talk. And I was telling him about when you have a sexual relationship with a lady, you deposit something of you into that woman. If another man comes, it's the same. So invariably, that lady is carrying different bit of DNA, like you eat. When they say that there's something we call a puru, isn't it? They say when you eat it, there will be a little bit that is left on the plate. That is how sexual relationship is when it comes to genetics, DNAs, and other cells that is deposited. That's why, like HIV virus, you don't need to have sex twice to get it, because the moment the man is able to release something into you, that particle part of him that is left is enough to penetrate your DNA. So I was explaining that to him. Although he was doing his master's at the time, he said to me, "Mommy, you are 1 year late in this discussion." That's to tell you how honest my children are with me when we are alone to talk. He said to me, "Mommy, you are 1 year late in this discussion." So I said to him, "Then what you can do is stop." I said, "Where we are, stop." I said, "Because you will do yourself a lot of good. You will keep your glory, you will keep your strength, and you will use it at the right time." And he said, "Well, that's something to think about." So those are sexual education that we need to be giving our children. But before I go to you talk about strategy difficulties, I don't want to not have the opportunity to tell parents about signs of bullying. Because a lot of time, our children, when they come home, they are not able to come to us directly and say, "Daddy or Mommy, you know, somebody just bullied me." No, they are scared, because one thing about the exploiters and these people that bully is that they say, if you tell your parents, we kill you. And these children does not want to die. They love Mommy, they love Daddy, they enjoy their family, they think about the future, they say, "I better keep my mouth shut so they don't kill me." But say, for example, I don't see myself being a scary mother, though I am so firm and principled. But I'm not a scary mother. My children still find it easy to talk to me. So if I enter my son's room and bang at the door, bang, and I say, there's something going on with him or her. Okay? At one point, my daughter, she was, sort of quiet, too quiet. And I kept saying, "Are you okay?" So at that point, she was already on her master's, actually, at the time. And when she visits, she's so quiet. And when so I started, so all I can do then is pray. And support her. And she's the type that we book something and say, "Mommy, I've booked, let's go for this, let's go for that." So that is a sign that something was wrong. Later on, she spoke to me about it. But those are the simple things. So a child that is vibrant, that is happy, you get to school to see your child, and your child is reserved, and you say, "What's going on?" I say, "Oh, sorry, Mommy, I don't want to talk about it." I have one of my, see, I have extroverts and I have introverts. I have them. The introvert will not come forth, and I'm the one that will be asking a lot of questions. And but the moment I start asking questions and he say, "Mommy, I don't want to talk about it," or you call me, and then when I pick up or if I miss the call and I call back, you say, "Oh, Mommy, it's okay, don't worry about it." No, when your child is saying, "Don't worry about it," you should worry. It means they are thinking twice before telling you what they want to say. So, and sometimes for boys, this is common. You are not the type that will scare your children that they will wee in their pants. Once you see your child that doesn't bedwet normally, woke up in the morning one day and was hiding the tidying of their bed unnecessarily, know that there's something that is going on. You should find out what's going on. Why did you have to bedwet? Oh my God! Oh my wonderful child! What's going on? Come on, there. Not that at your age you bedwetting. No, because that's how they brought us up. Our parents, they scream so much at us that we don't have a choice but to cooperate. No, we cannot do that with this generation. This generation needs support and so much of love. You know, when the Bible says that when you give love plenty to someone, it will be easier for them. When you forgive much, they love more. When you give so much love, they will love back and they will open up. So that is one aspect. The other thing that I want to say to parents is to be prayerful. See, there are a lot of things that the children will probably not tell us. But from my experience, God will show me what's going on. Even my husband knows. My children, they know. Once I call them and I say, is there anything you need to tell me? I might not know the specific problem, but I will know that something is there. It's fishy. And there are signals for each of them. So once I see something, I know who to approach, because there has, over the years, I've tailored the signals to each of them, and I know when I see who to approach. And they're usually very shocked, you know. When I say to them, and if I want to really make it very scared, I'll say, I had a dream, you know. And they know once I say that, I know what I'm talking about. So I want to ask our parents to please
always be already alert when it comes to the issue of their children.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Pray and make sure that we are as well as observant.
Alajambali, I'll come to you now, because we discovered that yes, the media, both conventional and social media, have contributed a lot to the grooming, let me use that word, of children.
Yeah.
Now, they've influenced, especially the social media has influenced so many things, decisions and actions of our children and teenagers. Now, I want to ask, what should, yes, parents do, but what should those of us in charge of the media, either conventional, social, should do now that we have a fire on the mountain concerning child upbringing?
Thank you. You see, my belief is this. Like you have said, the people in the media, they have a lot of influence on these children, because what they hear from either the television or the radio, they believe that is the truth. All that people that are there should just be feeding them with something that will be positive in their mind. You see, some people will say, if you go to some end of the year activities in some schools, the type of music they will be playing. I mean, you will now discover that in such things, it's exposing those children to vices.
Even at children's birthdays, the type of music, the type of games, the type of dances elders will watch or encourage these little ones to go into.
You see, those are the things we need to reconsider. See ourselves as we are destroying those children, not that they are gaining fun. Those are not the best way by which they could get what they felt they wanted to feed to them. So I would just implore our people that they should know that those youth, those children believe much in what they say. Even when their parents are telling them something and they hear it from my brother here, they believe it's more tenable than what their parents are telling them. And you know how many people will listen to it? Thousands. So maybe 10% of them will reconsider it, or 10% of the parents that are even aware of such thing going. So
Alhaji, putting it side by side, I still want to stand here to say, to some extent, especially Nigerian broadcast stations, media stations owned by government, either terrestrial or something, still have, because they are being monitored. I think the challenge is the social media, where there is no monitor, no regulation, and these kids are very much exposed to. That is the challenge. That is the worry. What should parents do here?
Like I said earlier, the parents should watch the type of phone their children are using. It won't be the one, yes, if they want to expose them to technological advancement, yes, they can place those things that they could learn from it. Like some of my children. Their parents bought some tap for them, but what they put on it are things that is educative to them, not the one they can just go. But until we find a way of censoring those on social media, I think we will continue to. Okay, like a day before yesterday now, they said somebody was jailed, abused, somebody was a reliever of his position because he now said the governor of his state passed away. I mean, how can you just sit down because you feel you can do and then say such information? And until they start to take one or two of those who are sending that kind of
regulate what's coming. It is what they can do. I agree.
So until they do such things, at least they will now know that what they are doing had bad influence on them. If they can prove or they can say that this is what led them to doing this kind of thing, but again, they need to monitor and sanction some of them, just like they do for the television and radio.
Okay, Reverend Mrs. As we go, what should be the watchword for all stakeholders on the issue of upbringing of these kids? What should be the watchword?
I think when you talk about stakeholders, are you talking about the government or the
Everybody,
schools?
parents, teachers, just as you said, broadcasters.
I think what I will say is, let's look at the approach of teamwork. Okay, so teamwork means we all have the same focus. And let that focus be that we want to build our nation. The reason why I'm putting that, because the nation is the one that unites every one of us. And each of our homes is a unit of the nation.
Sure.
Okay? So if we all put our eggs in one basket to say we want a glorious nation, so each of us, families, we want to build a reputable family, which includes our children, our type of marriage, our flamboyant life, we curtail it. When you talk about parents that are saying, children use this, that, even forget about the parents. Even these children, even if you curtail what they watch on their tablets, when they go out to centers, internet, and all that, there are a lot of ways they get all these things. But if we all, as a nation, so if they come to my center, what are they going to see? It will be things that I have already prepared that will be beneficial to them. My money will not be my focus. The society needs to stop giving honor to rich people.
I mean, we are doubtful.
In the sense that, because you see all these young people, those that are exploiting them, the first thing they are asking them, their reward is money. So when a man that has stolen central bank money, for example, I'm not saying somebody did that, I'm using that as an example, it's just a phrase. I'm not saying...
Or an internet fraud.
Or an internet fraud, okay, let's use that. An internet fraud has now riding very expensive car, and the parents and the society, when they want to do...
I worshiping such a person.
That's right, sir. When they want to do launching, they call him. When the chief launcher, when the church wants to do something, they salute his name. When the mosque can say...
And he doesn't even disguise. You know the type of person he is from his dressing.
Exactly.
And his outlook. Yes.
The young people think the important thing is to what? Is to be rich.
Alaji, as we go.
I would just, like she has said, every one of us should consider the society generally, that these children is our own duty, the duty of the government, of the parents, and everybody to see that they become a good children, good citizens that we can be proud of. So whatever we do, there are things that will be beneficial to them, and we take everybody to be our children.
All right, that's how far we can go on this topic. We can go on and on. A whole lot of issues could come out. We all know why we are discussing this. The one that you think you have not done very well. You have been fat wanting as a parent. Yes, above all, we need to pray, because you could put in all this into a child, and if the child still wants to go wayward, they seem to know more than what we know nowadays. That you can know, so that's why you need prayer. But perform your own obligation as a parent, and that's the call of our guest here. I want to thank Elijah Ambalishola, retired PS here in Egusi. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
And of course, Reverend Mrs. Ayoka Olabisi, I want to thank you very much, ma, for also having time to come. The program continues after this break. It's the Friday edition of New Dawn with Antonio Ladero and Hakeem Akitunde. We'll be back.